It's me, Mocha. Welcome in or welcome back. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about a kind of a little bit of a heavy topic, personally, that I find a little heavy because, as you've seen by the title, it's mangas that I've cried to. Now, don't feel embarrassed if you've cried to anime or manga. I personally cry all the time when I watch a good one. I think it just shows you really understand the character, you understand the development of the story, and you can see the realism within the story that the author wanted to portray, like the author's true emotions, in my opinion. All right, so I only have four.
Thank God.
Let me know in the comments if you guys ever cried to an anime or manga as well, because I have. It makes us human. All right, so let's get right into it. The first. The first on this list is A Silent Voice. Now, I'm sure all of you have seen A Silent Voice, and if you haven't, it's pretty good. I believe it's based off of a true story that has a alternate ending to real life though. So spoiler warning for all of these, because I'm going to tell you the moments, and it's probably going to be a spoiler to the manga as well. So here, your spoiler warning again. So the part that made me cry, like I was fine all the way up until I was kind of okay here and there. I was kind of okay reading it here and there. But there were moments I took breaks, like with, the school violence and school aggression stuff. That was kind of hard for me to watch. But I stuck it out because I was like, oh, I really like the art. Falling victim to the art, guys. The part that really got me was at the end where Shoya saved her. For me, it really hit harder because the development of the friendship that they had up until that point after everything felt like not wasn't useless, but it was worth it. It was really worth it for Shoya. But for Shoko, she was still struggling. And I felt like that showed realism into what people who have traits or have things going on that we personally can't understand, to show that they're really, sometimes they might hold it together, but they're really struggling. And I thought that the depiction of that was really heartbreaking, especially knowing that these are, teenagers. Realistically, they're like 17 and stuff. So it was even harder for me because I think around the time it came out, let me see. Yeah, and it was hard for me because when it came out, I personally was a teenager too. I was 16. So for me, it hit even harder because I was like, wow, these could literally be like my classmates or people, people around my age somewhere in the world who are struggling with the same things, and they might not have a show yet to save them. So it was really hard for me to watch that part or to read that part. I was really like, oh my gosh, whoa, and I just hope that anybody out there who is going through these things, that they can find help and that they can have somebody to lean on, because at the end of the day, you matter. Next, we have A Perfect World. I'm not sure if any of you have seen this one. It was pretty long. Like, it came out, I think, originally in 2015, but it literally just ended. I think they finally made like the last chapter in 2021 or something like that. It was a pretty long one, a couple years. And sometimes when things take years like that and they don't have a lot of media hype, they kind of like fall off, and people who just read it just be people who look for it. So the part that got me in A Perfect World, well, I cried in several moments. I cried the first time was when they broke up the first time. That made me sad because I was like, dang, I really wanted them to work. I liked them. And then the second time was when Kawana and Ayukawa, when they were both broken up and they were with their new partners, and they both just kind of seemed like they were just going through the motions just because that's what everyone expected of them. And it really made me feel for them because I was like, man, that's real life too. People really, are forced to break up or forced to be separate just because people don't want to see them together. And I was like, that's crazy. But the icing on the cake that made me boo hoo 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 hoo, like I stubbed my big toe against a boulder, was the end where they met their son. And the reason I cried to it was because they struggled so long. Like, they struggled to try to conceive a child. Like, they went through IVF and stuff, and it was unsuccessful. And so they chose the adoption route. And when they first met their son, I was like, wow. Because from what I hear, IVF is like crazy painful. Like, imagine having to get shots and stuff. Like, they're getting shots, and these surgeries, and these operations that are probably super painful. And it didn't work, unfortunately. So then it showed to me, it showed like the real life of what it takes to conceive sometimes for some people. When they met their son, I was just like, wow, that's so good. So now they could be a family, they could have their child like they wanted. And it was just so beautiful. And then their son, he was a premature baby. So they showed them pictures of him in like the NICU and stuff. And it really hit Alukawa hard because he paralyzed from the waist down after being in a traffic accident. So it really took him back to when he was in the hospital and he was like not wanting to go on because he couldn't walk anymore. And it hit him that this newborn baby who's in the NICU is fighting for his life because he wants to live so bad. So it really hit him hard that that happened. And I just thought that was just so beautiful. It was like a full circle moment for him. And thinking about it now makes me want to tear up too. It was so good. Next is, I think this is a more new one. No, this is a newer one. It's not really a manga, it's a webtoon, but I considered it a manga because I saw it on like a manga, site. But it's called On the Way to Meet Mom. It's so many things I could say about this one, and I don't want to get emotional. I don't want to get too emotional, so I'm not going to describe it too much, but just know, anything with young children or orphans or things like that always makes me emotional because it's just like they're so young and they're going through so much kind of thing. So the part that gets me with this one is when he's drawing everything that he experienced up until now for the council to review. It's such a beautiful moment to me because you get like a montage of all of the moments he had with everybody and all the smiles and everything he went through. And it just lets you know, I would say it kind of depicts like, a child's view of the world sometimes, even in the darkest times. But it just depicts how much somebody can just appreciate the little things. Like he was drawing like spending time with people, eating candy. You know what I mean? It wasn't nothing like, oh, we went to go blow a bag at Hermes. You know what I mean? I thought that was really, really nice. And I'm going to leave that one there because I don't want to cry either. Our last one for today is going to be Orange. Now, I'm sure a lot of you have probably heard of Orange or seen like cover art of Orange and stuff because it was pretty popular when it first came out. The part that got me is when they saved Kakeru from not being here anymore. It then went on to show that he had a future with the girl he liked, who was Naho. And it showed their little baby. So cute. To me, this one was more emotional because of the story itself, like the story of how it's like I don't want to say like time travel-ish, but kind of time travel capsule-ish, you know what I mean? Their future selves are helping their past selves save Keikaru. And I thought that was just so nice too because it just shows how much they really cared for their friend and how much he meant to them. Some people feel like Hiroto did a really like self-sacrificing thing of ending up with Naho in like the original universe. But I personally feel like Hiroto is low-key selfish because he capitalized off the fact that Keikaru wasn't here anymore permanently to swoop in on Naho when he knows Naho liked Keikaru. Like pretty much kind of sweeping her off her feet when she's down on her luck kind of thing. And I personally hate those type of couples. I hate those type of love stories. I think that's so grimy because if you couldn't get her originally, don't try to swoop in and be her knight in shining armor. Don't try to sweep in and be his knight in shining armor. I hate that trope. I will give him his props though for doing the right thing and helping save Keikaru so that he gets a happy ending and Naho gets a happy ending with him. You know what I mean? So he gets his little snaps for that. Not too many of them. Just a couple. That was today's video. Thank you so much for stopping by. Thank you for watching. Let me know in the comments if you guys have mangas or animes that you cried to as well, because why not watch them? And then we can talk about them together. Anyways, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you've been here before, thank you so much for coming back. And if it's your first time here, welcome. I hope you want to stay. All right. I hope you have a great day. Thank you again. Take care. Bye.